Good morning and welcome to today's Talking Cafe at the new time of 11 a.m. Most of you already know me. My name is Wnedy Rudd and I'm very, very pleased to say I'm joined today by Nigel Muers-Raby, who is going to be talking to us about Somerset Day. And in usual tradition, and to help celebrate the wonderful day we're having, I'm going to read you my poem. And it is, hip hip hooray, it's Somerset Day. You're all invited to come and stay in this our very historic county, known for our cider, food and bounty. Full of vigour, cheer and sap, King Alfred put us on the map. Our county's age you cannot beat, so visit us and have a treat. Traditions are held and make us proud, so let me shout it out aloud. I'll fly the flag for our events, all of which are heaven sent. Our local traditions are very strong, so see for yourself and come along, and raise a full wassail cup, and of our cider have a sup. And that brings us nicely to saying hello to Nigel, who is the CEO and founder of Somerset Day, and that about sums you up, doesn't it?
I think it probably does, Wnedy. Yes, enough said. I think it's what they say. I'm delighted to be here, and thank you for inviting me.
So, Somerset Day, and everywhere I've noticed the dragon on the yellow background, which is as I learned from yourself earlier, that is the flag of Somerset.
It is indeed, and many there's a misconception around it. Many people think it's a wyvern, and it is not a wyvern. A wyvern is a two-legged mythical beast, and a dragon is a four-legged mythical beast. And if you look behind me, if I move over, which way? Get it the right way. That is the Somerset flag, and that's the Somerset dragon, which has 4 legs or 4 feet or whatever you call it. Sadly, those people who come to me often saying, "You've got it wrong, it's a wyvern," I'm afraid it's not. It's definitely a dragon, and we have that on the authority of the world's leading flag expert, who happens to live on Exmoor, would you believe it?
There we go. So tell us a little bit about, because I understand 6 years ago this came about. Tell us sort of how you're now where you are with this wonderful day.
Okay, well, I think for my sins, I mean, I sort of started the Somerset Day community interest company, and I did so because I felt that Somerset has so much to offer, but is so often overlooked. Many people sort of travel through Somerset on their way to Devon and Cornwall, and rather think that it all happens in Devon and Cornwall. Well, I'll upset my Devon and Cornish friends by telling them that Somerset has far more to offer than both Devon and Cornwall put together. So, and our aim was really to celebrate what we have in Somerset. To celebrate Somerset as a place to live, play, work, and learn. And I think that encapsulates what we're about. And we just want people to recognise that we have a remarkable county. We're lucky enough to live in a remarkable county. And Somerset Day is a day on the year, every year, when we can all get together and this year fly the flag for Somerset.
Yeah, I mean, as you were saying, we do have an awful lot to offer, and we have a very long history, which I was unaware of as well, which you were educating me.
Yes, we do. I mean, we celebrate on the 11th of May because that's the date in 878. When Alfred the Great gathered all the people of Somerset in the marshes and went to meet and defeat the invading Danish army. And Alfred is the only monarch to have been called great in our history. He is the first monarch whose face was on the coinage of England. It's generally recognised that Somerset is the oldest county in England, and it predates any state in Europe. So we have a pretty proud history. We've also can celebrate on the 11th of May in 973. I have got a crib sheet here, so this isn't all coming off. Otherwise, you'll all think, God, he's brilliant. Well, he isn't. But on the 11th of May in 973, St Dunstan, who was the Somerset-born Archbishop of Canterbury, conducted the coronation of King Edgar in Bath Abbey. That service forms the basis for the coronation service used in modern times. So we've got quite a lot to shout about in our past. We've a hell of a lot to shout about now and in our future.
Yeah, so my sister Jean, funnily enough, she helps me with my poems and stuff if I get a glitch. And I said to her about, did you know? She is really into her history. And she said, oh, yes, she said, you had the King of Mercia, the King of whoever, she said, and King Alfred was the first King of England. And I went, well, there you go. Who knew? Yeah.
So yes, and I think, you know, when we first sort of looked at what we should celebrate, I mean, we wanted to, I mean, we don't want it to just be steeped in our history, but we want it to recognise our history and its place now, and to celebrate what we did have what we have had in the past, what we are now, and what we are going to be in the future.
And of course, a lot of that centres around, as you say, the food, the fruit, yes, the cider. I mean, that's what makes us.
We are famous, obviously, for cider and cheese, but actually that's not the only thing we do here. I mean, we've got a tremendously strong farming industry. A lot of people don't know it, but we've got quite a large number of brewers. We've got some gin makers, gin distillers. We've got some vineyards. So we've a wide range of produce, and we are the breadbasket of the UK. We have more farm food and drink producers than any other county in the UK. At the last count, some 8,500. So you know, we are a remarkable county, and that's without looking at this amazing countryside and coastline we have. You know, I mean, we've got the first area of outstanding natural beauty to be created in England, which is the Quantocks. I think it's 2 or 3 AONBs, a national park. You know, a heritage railway line, the largest music festival in the world, the great, one of the great sights of Europe, the carnival season. So you know, and you know, a cricket club that is nationally and internationally recognised. No, you can go on and on and on, and sometimes we just don't remember all of this.
I was about to say, it's funny because when you say Somerset to a lot of people, that's, as you say, the southwest, they do tend to go to Cornwall and Devon without realising exactly what Somerset has to offer and how involved it has always been, and the glories that are out there.
Yeah, I think that's right. I mean, in a sense, it's a sort of it's slightly, I suppose, this historic thing, really. In the sense that, I mean, in the early days, people used to drive down the A38 through Taunton and Bridgewater, and would spend hours in a traffic jam between Taunton and Bridgewater. So all they wanted to do was to get past Somerset. And then the motorway came, the M5, and that sort of that carried traffic on through for a time quite fast, and then that too got jammed up. And so I think to some extent, Somerset's always sort of slightly been seen as actually it's a place we need to get through rather than a place we need to come see and stay in. And that wasn't helped when they broke the county up into the different regions, when, you know, you've got North Somerset, the unitary authorities of North Somerset and Baines, and then you've got the county council area. And we lost a bit of that sort of holistic feel for the county, you know, that perhaps Devon, Dorset, Cornwall, other counties around us have. So basically, we're just trying to regenerate that love of our county, and you know, we do still have the historic county of Somerset, and it does border from Portishead in the north, right out onto Exmoor in the west, down to Chard. You know, it is a big county, and it isn't just Taunton or Bath or wherever, you know. It is a big county, and it is one county, despite the fact that it has different administrative regions. It is very much one county, and that one county, if you like, is represented as by the figureheads of the Lord Lieutenant and the High Sheriff, both of whom represent the old historic county.
Yeah. And as you say, we are also, which also goes amiss, steeped in traditions as well, because of course you think of Scotland and Wales and they have all of these traditions, and what people don't realise and miss out on is some of the traditions and things that happen in Somerset too.
That's absolutely right, and I think, you know, there's legend and there's tradition. I mean, I suppose one of our most famous traditions has to be the wassail, which is actually it's associated with warding off evil spirits in the orchards, and seeking blessing for a good crop in the coming year. And traditionally, that was always held on the old 12th night in January. And that tradition continues to this very day. And you will find that, you know, many of the cider growers and cider orchards have a wassail every year, and they wouldn't stop it for anything. I mean, obviously, they haven't been able to hold them in the same way as they did during COVID. But, you know, it's an important part of what we are and what we do. And interesting enough, about 3 years ago, the BBC News were doing a program about why don't the English have a strong identity in the same way that, say, the Scots or the Welsh do. And their editor, still there, the editor for Home Affairs, he basically came to the conclusion that it was because the county identity was very strong in England, particularly in certain counties. And he highlighted a number of them where that was the case, and Somerset was one of them. And he said that was very much, he felt that there was a strong connection with the soil, with the earth, going back for a long way. And so I think, you know, these county loyalties are sometimes hard to define, but I think, you know, particularly in a place like Somerset, I think there is a strong feeling of belonging to the county, and we may not be as upfront about it as they are in Yorkshire, but, you know, we still have that.
We do. And of course, as you say, we've got coastline. We still are part, we have the Jurassic coastline as well, with all of that.
Yeah, I mean, we are, I mean, you know, we are spoilt for choice here, actually. I mean, if you were a visitor coming here, you would find it quite hard to actually choose what of the many things we have to do. And if you're here for a week or whatever it is, you know, you will not see all of Somerset. I mean, you will want to come back and back and back. So yeah, I mean, I think it's about getting that message out, and also about inspiring people who live here to feel proud of their county and to want to take part in supporting. You know, Somerset Day is about, I mean, normally, obviously in the last 2 years it's had to change, but normally it's about celebrating communities, villages, organisations, celebrating their community, and putting on an event. It might be a fair, it might be a book sale, it could be all sorts of things, and which they then raise money for their local good cause. But obviously, at the moment we've had to. That's why we have the Fly the Flag campaign this year, because clearly, you know, we're not able to all meet and have a jolly just yet. But shortly we will be able to.
And I think your Fly the Flag will probably remain with us, because the other thing I think that's also doing, which I noticed this year, I'm a relatively newcomer, like I say, I've been here 5 years, and the community is the thing that I found to be the biggest difference when I moved, at how welcoming the people were. And this year, as you rightly say, I've become more aware of all of the support for Somerset Day because of the yellow flags, because of people getting it out there and saying, we're standing proud, we belong to Somerset. So I think you've possibly started a new tradition here as well.
Yes, I think you're probably right. And I think, you know, it's much easier to celebrate an event around a theme. I mean, you know, you only have to look at things like Red Nose Day. I mean, you know, it reminds people in a very strong way about what this is all about. And I think you're absolutely right. I'm sure going forward this will become you know, our theme in a sense to wrap everything up in the flag.
And as you were saying about the counties and the areas in England having their own awareness, their own themes, it's very true, as you say, in Somerset, because they're aware of what the community needs, how to help. And we found this doubly so working for CCS. Of course, the work we do involved in the county, the awareness here of the needs, where the help is needed, is absolutely well, it's to be proud of, to be fair.
I think you know, I think it's interesting. I mean, I've always felt that that Somerset, on the whole, people in Somerset have time for people. I mean, you can go to some counties, and particularly perhaps the more urban areas, where everybody's in such a hurry to get everything done that they don't, you know, they sometimes perhaps don't have the time for their community that they might do. And I mean, although I do say this, I mean, you know, still in our villages, I mean, you know, cars will stop in the middle of the road to have a chat to somebody who's walking down the street. Might drive us all mad, but you know, it is a fact. I mean, we do have time to talk to people, and we are, on the whole, I think we're very friendly in Somerset.
The thing I learned coming from, because I was near a city, I was near Brighton, and I worked in Brighton. I travelled initially on the train every day. Nobody said a word for years. The thing Somerset has taught me is, as you say, that patience, that learning to relax. You feel as you come into Somerset after visiting, being away and visiting, the whole county just breathes a sigh of relief, and you just think to yourself, yes, I'm coming home. It's slower, it's calmer. And you do, as you say, you take in more beauty, you're more polite, you have time to talk. And that really is something that is, I would say, is definitely Somerset.
Yeah, I think that's nice to hear from you, and I believe that, and that's why I think, you know, Somerset Day is growing in its strength, and I mean, you know, we're really looking forward to next year. I mean, I know we're only just halfway through the day this year, but you know, we are looking forward to next year simply because it will be nice for us to be able to celebrate it properly again.
Yes.
For our villages, our towns, our communities, and our organisations to come together. And we shouldn't forget that there are benefits in this coming together. I mean, you know, loneliness is a big issue for a lot of people, and communities are able to address that by having these events and by getting people together. It's a big part of a lot of people's lives. So it's a very important thing that we get back to be able to do that. It's also for an awful lot of organisations. I mean, for many of the organisations that you and Spark and others support, you know, the events that they hold, not just on Somerset Day, but throughout the year, are absolutely critical to the future of their organisations, because they not only bring people together, but they raise much needed funds to enable them to do the work that is so important in our communities.
And I think because we've been in this awful situation where we've had the loneliness, where I think it's taught us appreciation as well. It has got us back out there on the foot, going around local and seeing. And if not, and it's not for the first time, but it's the clarity now of what is on your doorstep. We're so fortunate we can walk and we have all these beautiful places. And we hadn't realised, because even though we were slower, we still hadn't taken time to appreciate.
I think the other thing too is that it made people think about, you know, what they want, and you know, we started back in the first lockdown. We started something called Shop Somerset, which is part of Somerset Day, and we did so because we felt that there was a need for people to be able to buy, particularly food, locally. And we were astonished by the response we got. We got 110 businesses on fairly quickly. In November last year, or October, we decided to to set up a dedicated website of its own, www.shopsomerset.co.uk. And we now have over 360 independent businesses listed on that website. And that's becoming an important resource, not just for the independent local businesses, but for local communities. Because, businesses and communities need to interact with each other. They support each other. They need each other. And it's important that we create that relationship, not just within our communities, but with our businesses as well.
So would you like to, Hannah's doing a sterling job in the background for us today, and she's put up a couple of addresses. So would you like to tell people where they can contact you, what's involved, and things like that?
Sure. Well, if the best thing is to contact us. You can contact us through info@somersetday.com, or you can just go onto our website and the email addresses are there. What we would love to hear from people is your suggestions and your ideas about how we can, how we should celebrate Somerset Day, what sort of things you'd like to see being done, how you think your community, your village could get involved. Obviously, we're through this year almost, but how you could get involved next year, so that because this is not just about me as the CEO saying, well, this is what we're going to do. This is very much about responding and reacting to what our communities want to do, and helping them to do that. And we are a not-for-profit community interest company. So all our work around supporting communities and events for Somerset Day, we do without any charge.
And again, like most things, when you do it as a community, and if we spread it far and wide, we can share and copy the ideas, so that, if someone's thinking out of the box and your community, that you may not have thought of it, but it could be perfect for you. So.
And in the past, there have been some wonderfully innovative ideas for celebrating Somerset Day. Villages and communities and towns and organisations have come up with some great ideas, and it helps them to have that overall support, if you like, because we also have which again we barely used this year, but we have an interactive map on our website, and people who are organising events can put their event up on the website. And it will tell you, where it's taking place, when it's taking place, show you on the map where it's taking place. And that's all, we do all that for free. And we will put events up all year round, not just on Somerset Day.
And then all of those wonderful visitors that are now going to come pouring in can just go to said website and find out, I'm there this week, what's available for us. So,
I would encourage organisations to send in. When you go onto our website, you can click on the events, and you can. There's a form there, and you can register your event. It doesn't cost you anything, and we'll put it up on the website. And then we help promote that through our social media channels.
Yeah, so it's one-stop shop for the whole.
Yeah. We've got now across the Somerset Day social media channels on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We've got some 11,000 followers. So we've got quite a reach, and it's growing all the time.
And as usual, if anybody out there is watching live and would like to ask any questions, then please pop it into the comments box, and we will monitor that and put it up. If you're not live, then of course still put your questions up there if you have them, and we will monitor the site and make sure that your questions are answered, and we will get them over to Nigel when they show.
More than happy to answer them as best I can.
As I say, we normally tend to sort of chat a bit whilst waiting, but through practice, I have known it. Most of the questions will come post.
Yeah.
And people can sit and watch comfortably.
And people are probably trying to get used to the new time as well.
And they're obviously going to be shocked by the beautiful weather we're having today.
Yes.
Forecast.
I wonder why we really listen to a weather forecast, because more often than not, it's not what it says it's going to do.
That's right. So, yeah, because I was thinking, oh, goodness, you're going to have drizzle and rain. The last thing we really need on a Somerset day, we need the sunshine because
it is, you know, we mustn't forget that Somerset is the land of the summer people. That is what it means, the land of the summer people.
Well, I must admit, I didn't watch the weather, and I said we must be in this little spot that it just misses us. It seems to go round us. So, is there anything else we need to know, or we've forgotten to cover? Do you think that?
I just think I've probably babbled on for long enough, haven't I? I don't want to bore everybody.
So yeah, I think, as I say, I've definitely learned an awful lot. And I don't even consider myself as an outsider now because they've been so warm and welcoming to me. But as you say, you never know it all. There's plenty to learn, and I certainly have thoroughly enjoyed talking to you and learning about the history, more about Somerset, etc., etc. So for everybody and myself, I thank you for taking time, especially on this your busiest day, to let us all know about.
It's great. It's great to have the opportunity to talk to everybody. It's you know, it's good to. I often think that if you live in a place, you probably know less about it than somewhere you go and visit, because when you go and visit somewhere, you will go and look at all the things that are there because that's why you've gone there. But when you live in a county we're blessed with so many wonderful things, you almost take them for granted, and you don't always remember or recognize, my gosh, I haven't been there, I must go.
That is so true. How many times have I driven along and I've seen a brown sign and I thought, where's that? Didn't was there. Or I have friends walking dogs saying, I've been to such and such woods. I go, oh, where are they?
Yeah.
So yeah, as you say, you don't. Yeah, you do.
And there are also a lot. I mean, it's not just the well-known places. There are an awful lot of more hidden places that are remarkable. I mean, we just have so many extraordinary pieces to our county. So many differing pieces. I mean, you know, we talked about Robin Ashburn and the flagman earlier on being the world's leading expert on flags. You know, we've got the greatest cloth archive in the world in Wellington, in Somerset. Fox Brothers, who were a major cloth producer in Somerset in the 1800s, have an archive, leather-bound archive of all the patterns since they were founded in 17 whatever it was. And it is generally recognized as one of the most important archives of cloth in the world. So, you know, we do have these extraordinary things in our county, which we don't always recognize.
You see, we keep extracting all this additional information from it. You hear longer, obviously, because I didn't know about that either.
No, I mean, it's incredible. Really is. I mean, it's quite something to see. I mean, and you know, we don't. But and then you sort of, you know, you think about all these things of the past, but then you think about what we have now. I mean, what's going on in this county now?
Right,
I mean,
yes.
And it's interesting that, you know, why, for instance, you've got this incredible development going on called the Newton Somerset, which is this historic recreation of Somerset's produce and garden, which is an incredible project. It's mind blowing. And it's fascinating that somebody has come, one man's vision. It's fascinating that he's come to this county to bring that vision to life. And it tells you something about what we have here. That sort. I mean, the scale of what's being done at the Newton Somerset. It was Hadspen House between Sparkford and Bruton, and the scale of what's being done there is on the lines of the great English country estates and houses like Blenheim and Chatsworth. I mean, it is an extraordinary project, all centered around what Somerset has in terms of its great produce.
So, and that's a lovely place to end for today. Definitely have to get back together again, if only to just to discuss about the wonders of Somerset and to get it out there.
Absolutely.
And yeah, and as I say, every success, which I know you're having because the evidence is out there itself. And I look forward to seeing you next time.
Wnedy, thank you very much indeed. I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you and all your guests, and keep up the good work at Somerset Community Council.
No, it's been lovely. Thank you very much. It's been very interesting talking to you.
All the best.
Bye-bye. That just leaves me to thank you all for watching. And same time, 11 o'clock, sorry, same time, 1 o'clock nowadays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays and Thursdays. We hope to see you again very soon. That's me saying bye-bye for now.